whatever exercises you're doing, whether they say core, for your mommy tummy, or whatever, if you're doing an exercise and you see excessive doming or coning coming up through your midline, I want you to back off of that exercise. Okay, I want you to back off of that exercise, because what's happening here is you see this, like I said, it's a kind of a stretched out, thinner, it's thinner than it was before. When you're leaning back, you're pushing through this area. And if you push it to the point where it's firm and it feels firm to the touch, then you're kind of pushing it to its limit. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to keep pushing it at its limit. You don't want it to get worse than it already is. If you also have an umbilical hernia or something like that, you also want to be mindful of seeing this coning or doming or having that pushing through the midline. You want to go back and reevaluate what you're doing. Go through my videos. The videos I have are ideally safer for those of us with diastasis recti or who are needing more deep core strength. And we can talk about that next week. But I just want to drop that little tidbit before I move on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my old videos on YouTube, especially the longer ones where there are my lives from TikTok, because I go into more depth about that. But I just want to drop that tip right here and let you know that that could be why you haven't seen the progress you were hoping for with traditional ab exercises. Because what does this exercise mimic? So you lean back, you see that coning and doming. If it's firm, it's like really excessively pushing out. Like if you see a little bit of coning and doming when you're doing an exercise, you don't have to be afraid of that. But if it's excessive and it feels hard, like you're pushing it to its limit, that's what you need to be leery of, okay? When you see that, you want to just back off of that exercise. That's something like a very common exercise that you see for abs. What is that? It's like doing a sit-up. Okay, so people will say, yeah, do 100 sit-ups, do all these sit-ups to get our stomachs tight again. But that's the very motion that if you have diastasis recti, you could be causing some issues there. So we want to work up to a sit-up, okay? That's why in a lot of my TikToks you'll see, stop doing sit-ups, do these instead. It's not that you can never do one, but if you see excessive doming when you're doing one, you're not ready for that, and you could be making your situation worse. Yes, if you have I see somebody said, also have an umbilical hernia. If you have an umbilical hernia, that's something that you want to make sure you're strong enough for, like a sit-up or a V-sit or something like that. You want to make sure you're strong enough for that before you start going into those things. Okay.